Wanted to go over a topic that is going to offend a whole bunch of brainwashed Americans and stuff, and the majority of Americans. But I need to wake people up in this. As a targeted individual that's targeted by a totalitarian government, it's supposed to be to the republic on which we stand, right? To the republic on which we stand. But it's a totalitarian, capitalism, and freaking communist government, a mixture of a whole lot of different stuff. But it's not. There is no republic, and there's hardly any Democrat. They're trying to throw us back and forth to each other. If let's say if I didn't support Trump, they're going to automatically accuse me of being a Democrat. No, I got more Republican views than I have any type of Democratic views. More Republican views. I stand with the old republic. I don't stand with this new republic. And I don't gotta support Trump to be Republican, because Trump himself is not no Republican, and I don't care if that pisses you off. A lot of people, there's a lot more people that actually woke up to that fact. I voted for Trump in 2024 election, and I was a targeted individual then. I voted because I figured half of the stuff he said would help us targeted individuals. Cleaning the swamp, he promised. He just put more corrupt individuals in office. That's it. More corrupt individuals. He's steadily implementing totalitarianism in the government right now. Digital ID, a bunch of surveillance stuff. He's given the police and military more qualified immunity. That's totalitarianism. That's not Republican at all. And one of the points I'm getting at, 90% of the military and its veterans, I don't support them. Now, does that mean I don't support the Air Force? I don't support the Space Force? I don't support the Navy? No, the branch itself I support. The police departments itself I support. It's just the people that's in those branches I don't. 90% of them I don't support. They trample upon the other 10%, and they may become targeted. So, just because I'm showing hate to the current police force and military doesn't mean I don't support the military at all. I support the branches. It's just 90% of the people that's running those branches, I don't support them. And I don't care if you feel this, I don't respect. If I have any form of respect, it's because that's natural. That naturally comes out of me through the Holy Spirit. I may respect some of the things they say personally, but as far as their job description and not doing their job and keeping their oath, I don't respect that. They say, I swear an oath to defend the Constitution against both foreign and domestic terrorists. But the moment they get in office, they become the domestic terrorist. And if we try to fight back against their domestic terrorism, they label us a domestic terrorist. I've had conversations, this should encourage you right here, with other veterans that actually agree with that statement. Veterans that were part of a mortar team, and other veterans. Yes, I stuttered. Another veteran that his job was to call in mortar support and air support. So I said, the current government, we're supposed to be under to the republic for which we stand. They swear an oath. The military, whenever they whenever they get in there, they have to swear an oath to defend the Constitution against both foreign and domestic terrorists. And I explained totalitarianism and stuff, and it said. And explain how they're basically the domestic terrorists, but they try to label us it if we fight back, right? He said, I also explained how they're basically going against everything you fought for in the military. He said he agreed and said, yeah, that's exactly what I signed up for. That's what I thought I signed up for, is to fight for the Constitution and its freedom. But I realize now that I'm supposed to fight against my own government. He agreed with me in that. He says, I realize I need to be fighting against my own government, because they're domestic terrorists. They're violating the Constitution left and right. Most of the government, 90 to 95% of the government and its military and police forces are violating the Constitution, and they're traitors. He agrees he needs to fight against them. He supports me in that right there. Now, whether or not he still has the will to fight, I don't know. But obviously it's going to take more than a few people to rise up against 95% of the military, right? Or 90% in itself. We can't do it by ourselves. We can take as many out as we can if we play our cards right, but eventually we're just going to die off. Special forces members die off all the time in war, right? They fall short in battle. So it doesn't matter how trained you are in war fighting or battles. If you don't have enough numbers on you, you don't have enough backup, you're going to eventually fall, right? Don't matter how many you take out, you're going to fall with them eventually. Especially if you lack resources. Now, this current government might consider that a terrorist threat that I just made. They might accuse me and falsely slander me and call me a terrorist threat. I was charged with a terrorist threat charge for making these comments, saying that I'm going to overthrow the government. I'm going to prepare myself to overthrow the government. Saying I'm going to burn their city down and all that if they don't take us targets off of the list. And they charged me with a terrorist threat charge. And I was forced to plead guilty for a lesser sentence. Because they're going to put me in jail a whole lot longer than what I was actually in there for if I did not plead guilty to it. I was forced to lie under oath. Now, they might try to use against me, oh, so you lied under oath? We could charge you with that. But then again, you forced me to lie under oath. You forced me to do that, so that makes you a liar also. That makes you a liar also when you obviously know something's up and something is off there. So if you arrest me for that, then you need to arrest yourself for that too. And I'm not saying that to be funny. But you need to arrest yourself, or somebody needs to arrest you for lying under oath. Because you swore an oath to defend me against that stuff. So, I got veterans that support me, especially the veterans that are targeted with the same stuff I'm targeted with. But do they still have the will to actually fight and link up with me? Yes, I may not be a military veteran. I may not have the type of training that you have, but I at least have a will to fight and fight alongside you. I at least have the will to actually join you in battle and fight against this totalitarian government. Do you at least respect me in that? I'm an American patriot, American citizen. That's really what's supposed to make this country the home of the brave, right? Because its citizens are used to be most of the citizens were willing to rise up if our government took over and overthrew our Constitution. But now most of our people are too scared to do that. They're brave and other stuff, but they're too scared to actually have the actual will to fight. I'm weak by myself. That's why it's united we stand, divided we fall, right? Divided, we're going to fall short every time. They're going to pick us off one by one, trample upon us like cockroaches. They're going to send the Secret Service our way and everything else and try to capture us and kidnap us. I can't call that an arrest. I'm a prisoner of war at that point. I am a prisoner of war at that point because we're basically at war in our own damn country. I can't consider that an arrest. More of us need to rise up. And I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to make this too long. But at least I know there are veterans that support me in a lot of what I say. But do they still have the will to fight? Because I sure do, and I'm not even a veteran.